All right. Welcome to another episode of Table Talk. We want to say hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. We just want to say we welcome you to Table Talk, where our ultimate goal in having this talk is to bring healing and light to the nations. I am your host, Claudine Hicks, and joining me is my co-host, Cherise Murs. Say hello, Cherise.
Everyone, good evening.
And along with, we also have our special guest, who is a mental wellness coach, Jodie Solberg, whom you will hear from in just a few minutes. Now, for those, if you love journaling like myself, and I believe Cherise does too, we love journaling, then this talk is definitely for you. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to be amazing. So remember, please remember to tag and share this broadcast so that many can be brought to Jesus, okay? Now, Cherise, you want to go ahead and please welcome our special guest.
Jodie, welcome. We are so excited to have you tonight. And just a little bit about Jodie, you guys. Jodie Solberg is a mental wellness coach, certified master hypnotherapist, and international best-selling author. Jodie loves working with purpose-driven professionals on a mission to live in alignment with their passion and values to create real and lasting change in their lives and the world around them. She guides them in tapping into the power of their subconscious mind to gain the clarity and confidence they need to uplevel and achieve both their personal and professional goals. Jodie has been working therapeutically for more than 20 years and holds degrees in both psychology and sociology. She started her entrepreneurial journey as a consultant and coach for female entrepreneurs while still in graduate school studying clinical psychology, which is where she first began practicing as a hypnotherapist as well. Jodie's experience working with diverse populations, such as women and children suffering from the effects of abuse, teens in after-school programs and group homes, parents in training programs, people dealing with chronic illnesses and addiction, and burned out caregivers gives her a unique perspective to help her clients overcome their limiting beliefs, break through blocks to progress, and heal past hurts so they can be free from anxiety and fear, beat burnout, and have more peace, joy, and harmony in their personal and professional lives. Jodie founded Psyched Up Success in 2019, fulfilling her long-standing dream of having her own private mental wellness practice, working virtually with clients worldwide. Jodie's greatest joy and purpose are in helping other women to find their voice, build inner strength and confidence, create a life they love, and pass those lessons on to the next generation. Welcome, Jodie, and tell us all about this new journal that you have. It's called Everything Happens for a Lesson.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Claudine. And thank you, Cherise, for introducing me and having me here today. I am so excited about my new journal. It just came out this month, and it is something that's been on my heart for so long to really have a tool or resource for people to be able to cultivate more of a growth mindset. When I wrote Everything Happens for a Lesson, it was actually the first chapter in the first anthology that I ever contributed to, which was called Fierce Women Roaring into Purpose, From Pain to Purpose, which is actually how I connected with Claudine. And so it really opened so many amazing doors for me and built so many great connections. And it was really all about the life lessons that I had learned from other strong women in my life, as well as from my clients. And in my 2 decades, like you had mentioned, of work in the mental health and wellness industry. And so it was really important for me to share, this is how I was able to really look at some of the things that happened in my own life, good or bad. We have wonderful things that happen to us, and we have tragic things that can happen in our lives, and how I was able to take something from everything and really realize that everything does have a lesson in there somewhere. We just need to look for it and see what we're meant to learn from that experience and move forward with that and grow in it. And so that's why I decided that I wanted to turn that into a journal. And so it's so beautiful. I love it. It's all about you exploring what is going on in your life daily. not just the big chunks, the big, huge things that happen in our lives, but every single day. What are the challenges that come up for you, and what can you learn from those? Or what are those things that went really well, and what can we learn from that? And, how can we focus our attention on things that align with our values and our purpose and really are focused on taking care of ourselves? That's what I think journaling is really helpful for. It's that self-reflection, and it's that time for yourself so that you can fill your own cup, so that you can reflect and you can learn and you can grow, so that you can go out and give your best and fulfill your calling and your purpose at your highest and best ability. So that's really where that came from. That's where the idea came from for the journal and what inspired it. And so I do include the chapter in here as well as an introduction about journaling and how that really can help to shift your mindset and change your brain in a positive way. And then the 30-day journal with prompts in the morning and the evening. So there's just 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening, so maybe 5 minutes. Doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it's just to get the juices flowing and to really open up to focusing on gratitude, focusing on the lessons, focusing on our values, and focusing on prioritizing ourselves and setting boundaries. I talk about that a little bit too, because that's one of those lessons I think is really universal for all of us, but I think sometimes especially women too. I think that's important. So I added a little bit of that in there as well.
Yeah. I like the fact that you put, morning, afternoon, evening. I love that you broke it down, because sometimes we don't even take enough time to sit for a minute. And so this causes us to pause. We should all pause, stop for a minute. And so that's what, when I did download it for the, that when it first came out, your launch. And I was like, this makes me want to sit down and really sit and rest for a minute and just begin to just release all that's going on paper. Because I love to journal, and I believe Sharice, like I said, Sharice she likes to write, doodle too. So that's the first thing I thought of was like, oh, this is good, because it gives you a minute to just pull away and just sit for a minute, because you can't be busy doing this and trying to journal. It cause you to sit or stop for a minute and just and start journaling. So that's one of the things I did like about it.
Yeah, and it's very therapeutic. I mean, journaling is therapy in itself. When you get to write out all of your thoughts, and later on you can come back and look and see how far God has brought you from when you first started. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can start to see patterns. Some of these lessons that we're supposed to be learning, we keep getting over and over and over again, but maybe we don't slow down enough to pay attention, to actually listen. And so when you can slow down, twice a day for just 5 minutes, it can allow you to hear what is supposed to be heard. And it can allow you to really explore, what are the things that are most important to me? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to focus? Maybe in being more positive and looking for those opportunities that are out there versus always focusing on what's not going right, and not, really taking control of, hey, I can do something about this. I can make some shifts myself in my life. And so I love having the morning and the evening routine, because I call it bookending your days. It's really important to me because it's those opportunities before things get crazy in the day, in the morning, to take that quiet time. I think those are the best times. Those are probably the most simple times to put into your day. Because if you try to say, okay, I'm going to sit down and journal at 2 p.m., chances are things are going to happen, and you're just never going to do it. And so being able to incorporate that into what we already have as habits. You think about your morning and your evening routine. We already have an order in which we do things, getting up and getting ready, and maybe stretching, grabbing your coffee, all of these different things that we can put into our morning routines, just maybe sitting with your coffee for those 5 minutes and doing the journaling. You could do that, or even right before you go to bed, get ready for bed, have some quiet time, turn the screens off, and do some reflection. There's such a great opportunity to have that one thing for yourself, just a couple minutes a day. Like, that's not too much to ask to do for us. is it? And we usually don't. We put ourselves last and our head hits the pillow and we're done, or we're stressed about what's going to happen the next day. And so I feel like this can give you an opportunity with journaling to wind down for the day and to set yourself up for success for the next day.
Yeah, it's a part of self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just bubble baths. You know, people think, oh, I get my nails done, I get my hair done, or, you know, things of that nature. But self-care reflects a lot of things. It's taking care of yourself at such a basic level, like feeding yourself and hydrating and moving, and then taking the time to do that mental self-care. You know, all of those things really do make it so that you can recharge your batteries and your energy. Because if we just go, go, go all of the time and we don't take advantage of those moments of peace and those moments of quiet and reflection, then what happens is we just get burnt out. And that was one of the lessons I had to learn. And that's definitely one of the lessons in here in this journal is, you know, I was just so busy and going and going and going that I wasn't taking the time to sit and reflect and think, okay, like, what am I doing this for? And that's a big lesson in our lives.
That's interesting because we don't, as you said, there's lessons every day.
Yeah.
And we don't see them. We don't pay attention to them. Our eyes are not open to them. But if we sit down and we write out our thoughts and write out maybe what happened today and what the outcome was, we can see the lesson more clearly when it's written down, when our thoughts are wrote out.
It's so true. Yeah, we process things in a different way when we write them out. And so if you're just thinking about it, I always say get it on paper, get it out of your head, because you really can process better. You're seeing it as you're writing it down. You have the movement. So there's different parts of your brain for that kinesthetic movement and learning, and the visual when you're seeing it. And course you're thinking it through, you're processing through, and it's different. It sounds different when you say something out loud and or you write something down. It's very different than if it's just going on in your mind. And like Claudine had mentioned earlier, one of the things that's important for me, because these are the things that are in this journal are actually implementation type of items that I give my clients. And so it's really important to take the time to sit and be in the moment with it and to be present, but also to make sure to put some emotion in there. You know, don't just check it off like a box. That's why one of the things I do when I say, you know, what are you grateful for today, is what are you grateful for today and why? Because it's not just like, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my husband, you know, I'm grateful for, you know, my friends or my children or, you know, whatever it is that day. It's like, but why? Come up with a new or unique, you know, something with some depth to it, something with some emotion behind it. Why is this person, you know, this amazing gift in your life? Why is this the best partner for you? You know, why have you been blessed with these people or these things in your life, and how do they enrich your life, you know, versus just, you know, knocking it off of the list and then you're just going through the motions and it doesn't really make an impact. So that was something that was important for me to put in there too.
I like what you just said, because for me, that's what journaling does for me. It makes me present, and not robotic, just doing it. Like you said, it's just another thing I'm just doing, you know, just something I'm checking off the box, but it makes me present, because when I do grab my my journal in the morning, and like I said, to wind down, it brings me in the moment. So it's not so robotic. I don't, because you don't want to be robotic about it. And unfortunately, we have gotten to that place where, you know, we're always go, 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 go. But just to take that moment to really just sit and think about, like you just said, why am I'm grateful? Okay, and the reason why I'm grateful for my husband, or, you know, my children, or my business, my job, that reason behind it makes you really sit and really think as you journal. So I like that part where you said makes you, you know, present.
Yeah, it's a mindfulness exercise. It really is, of, you know, you being present in this moment. And that's what we miss a lot, you know, in just our modern world of everything moving so quickly and things happening so fast and going all of the time, is we miss those moments. And so it just gives you that intentional opportunity to just be still for a moment. And so one of the things I know you mentioned, Claudine, that you downloaded, because there's an ebook version. So there's a Kindle version of the journal. So if you have your favorite journal that's beautiful and you love to write in it, that's a great opportunity to take those prompts and to use those as inspiration. And then, of course, if you want something to write in, I give lots of space. Lots and lots of space to write because I'm a writer. So I know, Sharice, you were saying you are too. I love to just write. And I like to have a room, and you can draw. You can put anything in there that you want. I think that's so nice to have a bigger, something substantial you can hold on to. And then, like you mentioned, how great is that then to go back later and to be able to look at how far you've come and how much you've grown. It's so amazing when you put something down on paper that you're able to do that. And that's the other thing I think we have been missing, since we just do everything online and on our phones, is that paper that you can go back and look at. How special is it to be able to do that? Whereas now we take 5,000 pictures a year, and we hardly ever have something tangible we can hold on to. And I think journaling gives us that connection.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Journal can never get old. Like you were saying, I have so many journals, and the thing about our journals, like you just said, is going back to, I think Sharisa said, just to be able to go back and say, oh man, this happened back then, and look at where I am today. Because sometimes we don't see the growth because we're always going, but just to sit back and look back at the notes we've taken in our journal, just say, oh man, it gives you an appreciation for life. It gives you appreciation for journaling, for stopping and taking that time to do that. So that's one of the things I do love about journal too. I can always go back and see.
And even for prayers, like I'll put prayers in there sometimes, and to go back, months later, days later, years later, and see how God answered those prayers. Then it's a whole big praise party all over again, because you may have forgotten that you prayed that, and the answer came and you didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful idea to take that, because again, in those routines, you might have your prayer time, you might have meditation time, you might take a walk that day. And I love being in nature. Helps me feel so connected spiritually. And so it's really important to me to be able to write those things down. Sharice, like you said, if you have a prayer in that moment, or, a quote or a scripture or something that really called to you that day, that really you were embracing that moment, write it down in that journal, because then you can go back and you can be inspired by it all over again. You can feel connected to that moment all over again. You can see how your life has changed. And, so many times we look back and we see, years and years later, the divine interventions, right? We see, oh, wow, that lesson came to me and it was a tap on the shoulder several times. And that I would say sometimes, like, I don't always listen. I don't think any of us always listen the first time. And so sometimes it's a tap on the shoulder, and then it's a frying pan to the head. It's like, hi, were you listening? What's going on over here? And so, we get those repeated over and over. And through that process of just writing it down and documenting things, we may be able to identify those a little bit sooner and say, there's a lesson in here and it keeps coming up over and over again. So maybe I should pay attention and really, see and listen, like, what's going on that I need to pay more attention to. That was for me a big part of my journey with burning out, and being someone who was in more of a role of taking care of other people. It was really important for me to learn some of those lessons. And that's why in 2019, I started that private mental wellness practice, was because I felt like I was doing important work and I was doing great work, but at the same time, I wasn't taking care of myself. And I was really getting burnt out. And it actually cycled through a few times. I didn't listen to that lesson right at the beginning. And I would just go until I just literally couldn't anymore. Physically, we don't always listen to our bodies. And that's one of the things in the journal that I talk about that's really important in that chapter, which is paying attention and staying connected. And that quietness can help you listen to what's going on and say, how am I feeling? What do I need right now? What do I need to give myself? Because I wasn't slowing down and I wasn't doing that. And so those little taps got bigger and bigger until my body just shut me down and said, nope, we're done. You won't listen. So we're going to take you out of the game. And then I would say, okay, I need to recover. I need to take care of myself. Of course, I teach other people how to do this. I could do this too. But then what would happen is within a few years, I just go right back to my old ways, old habits. And then boom, it would happen again and something would take me down. And so that's something I think through journaling, we can see, when am I getting more anxious about things? Or when am I feeling more disconnected? When am I getting really stressed out? What's happening? Because there are going to be effects in your health and your relationships. In all areas of our lives, we're whole people. So you're not just one thing. We have our physical health and our mental health and our spiritual well-being and all of these different areas, all of our relationships. Well, you can start to identify these patterns and these things that come up better if you're paying attention to them. And then you can say, okay, I'm starting to go back down that path again. I can nip this in the bud now. And for me, that was 2019. That's why I made that shift. I said, it was really important to take care of myself first in order to take care of other people at my best and highest self. And so I made that shift because I was recognizing that pattern coming up over and over again. And I decided to really just basically build my career now around being able to take care of myself and taking the breaks, making sure that I'm doing what I need to do so that I can take care of more people. And what's been amazing is through that book, with Claudine and I connecting, how many amazing doors have opened from that and how many more people am I now able to reach and serve and help because I made that decision to help myself first. And so that's definitely an overarching theme for me.
That's good. Help yourself first. So I want to ask you, and kind of on that same note, a part of your in the journal says self-awareness is the first step in changing habits.
Yes.
And when you're talking about that's what reminded me of that part of you where you said that. So can we talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. I always say awareness is always the first step because we can't change something that we're not aware of. And so that self-awareness is really important. That is the first thing that I usually work on with anyone is let's play detective with ourselves. Like, what is going on? How are you feeling throughout the day? Where are your energy levels? For example, what is most important to you? For feeling like we're not in alignment with who we're meant to be, with our values, for not making choices every single day that are matching up with what our purpose is and what we value most. Sometimes we say, my family is the most important thing to me. It's like, that's it, right? Like faith and family, like these are the most important things. But then you're not making those decisions. Right? Maybe you are distracted when you're with your family and you're on your phone all of the time and you're not being present with them and you're not really spending that quality time. You're not really there and connected. Or, you are saying, well, this is a goal I have, but we all have done that, right? New Year's resolutions. Sometimes we set those goals, but we don't make the choices consistently that reflect that. Well, when we become aware of, wow, that's why I'm feeling like there's just something off or there's something missing, or maybe I can't figure out what that is. You can't put your finger on it. When you can start to pay attention and track, how you're feeling or where your energy is or where the anxiousness is coming from, or what is it that you feel like isn't working right now? Then we can say, okay, well, what does work? What maybe did work in the past? And sometimes we forget, things are going great. Like I mentioned earlier, we think, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do this and everything's flowing really smoothly. And then something might happen in your life. You might have an event or a change or something where we revert back to the old habits. Right, that comfort zone, we can revert right back to that. And then we forget about all the good stuff that worked when things were going well. And so that self-awareness in all areas, I think, is really important. Self-awareness, mentally and emotionally, like about the thoughts and the feelings that are happening physically, what's going on, how those are connected. Those are definitely the things that are the building blocks for me when I work with clients of how can we get you into that wellness. And I always talk mental wellness versus mental health, because I believe that people think disease and disorder. Like when you say, physical health, people think, oh, good health. Or we say mental health, people think what's wrong. And so I always focus on that wellness and how that awareness is the first step towards that overall wellness, again, as a whole person, not just those bits and pieces, but really like becoming aware of that mind and body connection, becoming aware of what's missing for you potentially, or what tool or strategy or like technique that you can maybe use in your life to help you. So whether that is putting more prayer and meditation and journaling into your schedule, if it is some breathing techniques, or if it is really revamping like I did, some of the things that you're doing in your life, I had to revamp quite a bit, because I said, okay, this is not serving me, this is not supporting me, and this is not helping me to get to where I want to go. And so that self-awareness for me was really important, because I knew something was wrong, because my body wasn't healing the way that it was supposed to. That's last burnout episode that I had, but I didn't know what it was. And so I needed to get a little help, a little support. Even me, like I said, I teach other people how to do this, but we all need support. It doesn't matter, right, who you are, we need help. And so I reached out and said, hey, I need some help figuring out, like, what is that? I need to be aware of it so I can change it.
That's good. That is so good. I was thinking about, we were talking about the journaling and how it's for self-care and how it's therapeutic. What do you think about children journaling?
That's a really great question. Yeah, I've worked with children throughout my career, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great habit to start young. And again, it can be drawing, it can be writing, it can be a mix of anything. But I think just being able to learn how to express our thoughts and our feelings in healthy ways is really, really important. And the younger we can teach that, the better. And so that's something I really stress with my clients, with little ones, or when I work with children and teens, is they need to have those healthy outlets. So teach them how to have the vocabulary and putting those words. It's not just mad, sad, things like that. It's not just, happy. It's like, teach them some more words, and journaling can help you do that. You can talk about frustrated, or it can be, it's okay to be sad. Like, let's talk about that, or,
Right.
about that, or, what makes you happy, or what makes you grateful. We can expand their vocabulary through journaling and their ability to express themselves and their willingness to open up and share and put words to those things, because I think that that's really important to encourage children that it's okay to have all those feelings. Here's what we can do with them. And journaling is one way that they can have an outlet.
Yeah, that was a good question, Sharice.
Great question.
Yeah, great question. Because I started journaling I'm not even sure. I don't think I was a teen. Yeah, I guess 13. I was pretty young when I started, 12, 13. Yeah, because it was a way of outlet for me, just, how are my feelings on paper. So definitely, yes, I definitely encourage it. I encourage it to my children. Like I say, your clients, just encourage it. I almost would say everyone should journal, but I don't know, because people are like, I don't like to write, or I don't like to, but that's honestly how I feel. I mean, I think it's a great thing. I think it's healthy.
I do too. I think that anyone can. I think that it can look different for different people. So some people are really going to want to write out everything that's going on in their lives. And that's great. And some people aren't going to want to do that, and that's okay. For some people, it can just be taking those journaling prompts and just answering them, but it can be short and sweet, and that's okay too. It works however it works for you. And so everyone, like that, you don't have to think, oh, I have to do it a certain way or
Yes,
the right way or the wrong way. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. So if you just want to do, gratitude and list a few things out, like we were talking about earlier, about like, here's what I'm grateful for today and why. This is what I'm looking forward to, or this is what went well, or hey, this isn't, like, what maybe could I do differently next time, or what would I like to change if I could in the future, if that happens again. Little things like that. Just even thinking through it is really helpful. But yeah, if you're not a big writer, it's okay. And if you want to use your phone, that's okay too. It's just whatever is going to work for you to get you to do it. Right. That's the most important thing. To do something, to take a little step in that direction is fine. But yes, if you do not want to write pages and pages every day, that's okay. And if you do, that's wonderful too.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Yeah. I'm the one that you mentioned earlier, the one that likes to put everything on the journal. That's me. I'm guilty. I don't know about you, Sharice, but I put everything. Like you said, not just, sitting, but yeah, that's me. Yeah. And I think that's
when people start young, I think that's part of it. It's for you, it was that outlet. And when you start in kind of that, preteen to early teens, sometimes it's therapeutic, like Sharice mentioned earlier. It's a way to process through your feelings and those relationships during those times in our lives that are sometimes more challenging, and it can really help you to process through. And that's wonderful for that outlet. But yeah, if somebody hasn't done that before, or it's something that you've started but never stuck with, then just doing some little bullet points to start out with, just so that you're being intentional about it, is great. And if you feel like you want to expand on something, or you find something that works for you, then that's great. If that works for you, keep going with it. That's part of that awareness piece, is what works and what doesn't. And just because it works for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And so you just have to figure out the right fit.
Yeah, that's right. There's no right or wrong way. That's right. That's good.
I remember being a teenager and I had a diary. So I guess that's what we called it back then. Diary, but it was really journaling.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I had one. Listen, I had one that had a little lock on it. And all you had to do, it had been hard enough. It opened, but I was so sure it was secure. But so it was, diary, journal. What it was, it's put everything on it. So thanks for bringing that back. And brought back memories.
Yeah, and what it is with when a journal like this, where you have the prompts in there, it's just journaling with intention and journaling with a specific focus. That's really the only difference, is incorporating the answers to those questions in. And, it is a 30-day journal to help to build a habit. It's something where, you can use that again in your own journal. If you already have one, you can use those questions to answer those, and you can expand on them if you want to, or just incorporate them in. Or if it's something where you just have never really journaled and you just want to see how it works and build that habit. The questions that I added into this journal are specifically to get your mind working, to be more growth minded. Sometimes it can be really challenging when we have a lot of, just black and white fixed mindset type thinking. We want to expand our mind out of the habits that we're used to. We have, just like we have behavior habits, we have thought pattern habits and emotional habits. And so how we react to certain things is a habit, right? If you're doing that over and over again. And so it's just giving you the opportunity to reflect on those, to bring your awareness to some of those, to be able to say, hey, I can think of different thoughts. I can see something from someone else's perspective, or, I could say no to this because it doesn't make me feel good when I say yes, but I'm not happy and I'm resentful about saying yes to that. It's those kinds of things in our lives that sometimes we don't even realize that there's an option until we're really intentionally answering those kinds of questions, and we're thinking, maybe I could think a different thought. Maybe I could do something a little different. Maybe I am, saying one thing, but I'm really doing another one. And I didn't even realize that, because I've just been doing it the same way for so long. And so I feel like, with this, it's just whether you journal or you don't, it's just adding that intentional piece in, which is helping you to shift your mindset. And over 30 days, you're in a really good place. You can keep going with it if you want to, but you're in a really good position to really have that positive shift happen and to be able to start seeing some results with it.
That's so good. That's so good, Jodie. Thank you so much. That was so good. I'm so glad. Go ahead, Sharice. You're going to say something.
No, it's very good. It seems like, I mean, whether you're a beginner journaler or you've been journaling for years, this seems like a journal to have. And I'm going to definitely get one.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. It's just such an amazing opportunity for me. I just feel so incredibly honored and blessed and just privileged to be able to share this with the world because again, it's things that I talk to my clients about all of the time about, okay, so focus on this and put this in your morning and evening routines and, start journaling so we can bring up some of that self-awareness, but to be able to have a tool for them now that's actually physically available for them, something they can hold on to, but then also to be able to expand that reach and share it with more people. It's just really amazing. It's something that, like I said, it's been something I've been interested in doing for a really long time, but now to be able to see the feedback already on how much people are really loving it just is so fulfilling to me. So I'm really glad that you're going to check that out. And Claudine, that you like yours. It just brings me so much joy to be able to share these kinds of things with more people, because I think it's something that we don't talk about enough about. There's super simple things that we can do that make such a big impact in our mental and emotional well-being and just in our lives in general.
Yeah, that is so awesome. That's so good. I'm so grateful for women like you that sometimes when we try to find the right words to say, but when we've not going to say mastered, but when you have gone through something that you're able to pour back into someone else. And so sometimes we go through something and we've gotten the victory in it. We just keep on going and don't pull back. And so what you've walked through, you've shared in the book to let someone know, oh man, she went through this. And so I love when women go, we look back, and with that, what you've done is you've poured it in a book, you put it in a book to help someone else. So thank you so much, Jodie. I applaud you. I really love that.
Thank you. That's really important to me, to be able to share, and that we can share these stories, that then we know we're not alone and can relate so much to one another. We have so many more similarities of things that we go through in our lives than we ever have differences. And so the more people I think that share about mental health and wellness, that share about these different tools and techniques and things that work for them, the better, because we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, we can all learn from each other. So true.
Absolutely.
So true. Yeah, so true. So what is next for Jodie? Because we started the book, was that last year we did the book together, the anthology? That was last year. So, and you've done how many more books since then?
So 4. Okay. Yes. So 4 books total. So 3 since the one that we were in together. So I've had 4 amazing anthologies that I've been a part of. And now this is number 5. And so, so what is to come is I am going to be actually taking some of the chapters from the other anthologies that I've been a part of and create a series of journals, which I'm really, really excited about, because I do have one in the works that's about really embracing and identifying and developing your strengths, which I'm really excited about. I think that's going to be really amazing. And then finding and using your voice, and finding your purpose and finding that inner strength and that voice and being able to use it to help others. That was something I definitely wanted to share about my own journey, because I did not start off speaking publicly and being an author or doing any of those things, from somebody who was definitely had a lot of personal growth myself. I wanted to be able to share those things and how I was able to harness and develop my strengths and really build my life and my career around that. And then to be able to go from being really shy and quiet and reserved, I'm still introverted, but that's something I embrace. I love people. I recharge really well on my own, but I absolutely love people and it's so interesting. And always wanting to help others. And so how was I able to have all of this growth? And so I really wanted to share that, the growth that I've seen from myself and what I did, but then also how I help my clients. I want to continue to provide resources and tools for people who are on their own journeys of growth in different areas to be able to do that. So that is something I would like to continue to do. So that's what's next for me, is to continue to put out resources like this journal, workbooks and journals and things of that nature to help others to be able to further their DIY journey. And then of course, continuing to support clients as well. I have individual support as well as group options. So I do have a course, an emotional empowerment course, and some group options available to work with me. And so those are things that I definitely am going to be continuing so that I can be working one-on-one, because again, I love people and I love being able to really connect one-on-one as well as in groups. And so that is in the future as well for me.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and also put, I know I have your Facebook group. You want to share a little bit about your Facebook group so we can talk about connecting with you?
Absolutely. Yes. My Facebook group is a great way to connect with me. It's a place where I go live a couple times a week, and I post different prompts in there too to get you thinking about, okay, what am I grateful for today? Or, how am I going to create a win for myself this week? Or, what am I going to focus on? What am I going to be intentional about? And so it's a place where I share a lot of the work that I do, and specific different training topics. I've done burnout workshops in there, and things about prioritizing different types of self-care, and really looking again at that holistic picture of like, who am I and what's most important to me. And so it's called Purpose Passion Path on Facebook. So it's all about finding your purpose, following your passions, and finding that path, right, to really reach and fulfill those. And so that's what it's all about. So absolutely, I would invite anyone who wants to come and join my community. It's absolutely free. And like I said, lots of trainings in there and lots of great information. And then on my website, which is psychedupsuccess.com, that's where you're going to be able to find all the things. So you can actually connect with me. You can book a free 30-minute call to explore your options for support. You can see my different programs on there. And if you click on the favorite resources tab on my website, you can find all my books and the links to order them. You can get signed copies of the anthologies. You can order ebooks and paper copies. And I also have some free resources in there. So at the bottom of the page, there's free resources to guides to mastering mindfulness and how to reduce stress. There's some great things on that, and also my burnout recovery guide. And so lots of information and resources right there on my website that they can.
Let me just pause for a second and the burnout. You all have got to go through that, because that's what you talked to when you were here the last time about. We talked about burnout. That was so good. So yes.
Yeah. One of my last books, More Than a Conqueror. In that book, I have a whole chapter on burnout. And that's actually the same time that I created my Beat Burnout Now guidebook, which is on my website for free. And then I have a whole workshop in my Facebook group that's all based on that burnout recovery and prevention. Yeah, that definitely, I think, is huge. Highest rates ever of burnout right now, especially since the pandemic and just everything that we're dealing with in our lives. And so, yeah, thank you for the recommendation on that, because I think it is really important.
Yeah. And so the best way to reach you then is really through the Facebook group, or they can all go and see resources and also order your books on your website, which is listed. And then your social media, let me pull something off of here. Make sure I have like your
Instagram. Yeah, Psyched Up Success with the underscores there. And so, yes, they can find me on Instagram as well as Facebook. The Facebook group is, like I said, the best place to get more value and content. Absolutely. And Instagram, I put a lot out there as well. So absolutely, people can reach out to me, message me through my website, or they can DM me as well if they have any questions or they want to reach out individually, I would be happy to chat with anyone who's listening who just has some questions or is looking for support and wants to know, what does that look like?
Okay, awesome. And I'm also going to put her email address. Maybe I have to stop something. What am I doing? Okay. Your email address also, so they can also reach you there too. So there are multiple ways we've actually showed you all how you can reach Jodie. So thank you so much. Sharice, anything else you want to share or add?
I don't have anything else. Just thank you, Jodie. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me and really sharing these messages with everyone. I think this is such an amazing platform for you two to be able to share, like, just different people talking about things like this. I think it's so important to talk about journaling. It's so important to talk about mental health.
Yes.
It's really important to talk about, all of the pieces of who we are.
Yes.
As women and men, it's really important to pay attention to our mental wellness, to our physical health and wellness, to our spiritual wellness, and to really have the tools. And that's what you're sharing. So thank you for this platform to be able to share with everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to listen to this. To me, if you're listening and you're here, it means that you are prioritizing yourself, your growth, and you're embracing your journey. And I think that is absolutely so important, is to just really be aware that we're here and we're here for a purpose. We're here for a reason. So let's find what that is. Let's look for all of those lessons so we can grow and we can do it together. So thank you.
Yes, that's good. Thank you so much for that. All right, Sharice, you want to take us out?
Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight for Table Talk. Don't forget to come back next week, next Tuesday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We look forward to seeing you all there. And once again, thank you, Jodie.
Yes, Jodie, thank you so much.
Thank
Peace
you.
and blessings to you all, and have a good night.